My background takes me back to teaching, my first teaching video experience in 1987. It wasn't until I started teaching media that I realized that there was this whole world of stories that in my world had gone unheard. They'd been told, they'd been shared, but they weren't getting documented. And if they were being told, they were being told from a perspective that wasn't coming from the source. In 1996, I was asked to do a workshop working with Latino youth from a small town in northern Minnesota. I got to work with a wonderful filmmaker by the name of Bienvenida Matias. We became good friends, and eventually the organization that she ran morphed into what we now call In Progress. As an organization, we collect stories. We help build artists and storytellers through photography, video, and music. We have a space here in the North End neighborhood of St. Paul, Minnesota, but our reach is far. We really look for stories in every person. For us, stories is about relationship. It's about finding commonality. It's about valuing what a lot of people often will ignore, or the stories that don't get heard maybe in the mainstream media. It's a little out of focus, isn't it? Did you notice what is in focus? The background, the trees are... A lot of the communities we work with haven't had access to having a public voice. Their histories have been told by those that have colonized them, or by those that have decided that they know their story better than the communities themselves.
When I see Chris, I can follow in her footsteps. My goal was to gain as much skills as I can from her, because she could teach me so many things and make me a leader. And I never saw her as a leader, but rather than a role model that I wanted to be.
Leadership is about believing in what others can bring to the table. It's about when somebody has a dream, actually being able to believe in that dream and help guide people into achieving their own dreams. It's not about me building my dream or having somebody tell us what our dream is going to be. It's really about listening and then looking at what somebody's strengths are and doing everything we can to make sure that they can begin to see their dreams.
And when you come around, they stop and stare and don't make a sound.
I met Chris when I was 13 years old through Four Directions Charter School located in North Minneapolis. That was probably about 2002. Chris is really passionate about storytelling. She knows, especially for Native people, how important our stories are. Our stories are usually shared, our oral stories. And she knows that she knows the importance of film and photography for our people, because our stories, our languages need to be documented so we don't lose them.
She has a real quiet, kind of demure sort of personality when I first met her, and I met her like in the 80s. And we were hosting a workshop that she had brought a woman in to do, talking about media, and sort of looking at film and video and photography all with a different set of eyes. There was no like rules about how you take a picture, and that the more you knew about how to dissect and understand the power of what you had, the stronger your story could become. And just hearing her kind of encourage that dialogue in our community at that point in time, when so many people came to the Native community and took pictures from the outside and sort of created their own interpretation and sort of defined what a good picture was and what a bad, sort of from the get-go. And that didn't register with her. She didn't allow that.
The kids that made the stories in 1987 are the adults that are running their communities now. And they're the adults that you're hearing now saying, we need this for our children. We need to listen to what our young people have to say so they can guide us in making the right decisions for what will then be the next generation.
When I would go see what she was doing or be up in the area where she was working at, she would be like working with kids on a project like into the evening and helping them to succeed, but not doing one thing for them, but like just making the equipment available and helping to encourage them. And so often when people are doing projects, you know, they kind of like get tired and it's like, I want to rest now, let me just finish that up for you, you know. And she didn't do that. She kept encouraging them to continue to own this story they were trying to write and produce on video and the productions that they had worked on up there. So to me, all of those stories and all of those things that she facilitated really meant that she was connected. You know, she had a heart, she was connected to it.
My job as a leader is to support and to, when they're stumbling to see their own strengths or stumbling to find their own dream, is to just keep reminding them of their own words.